What is this? This is my cup of love. This is my cup of care. This is my cup of confidence. This is my cup of dreams. How can this be empty? This is empty because I'm going to share my journey of self-discovery, how I have filled my cup of care and love. And I'm here to share this journey with you all so that I can pour this empty cup, fill it, and give it to you and share my journey. So this is Daivata Patil, and I'm here to talk about my life lessons, which, I'm not going to reveal my age, which I've learned over the past many decades. So yeah, I'm going to start with a quote from Bhagavad Gita. Whenever I feel challenges in my life, I always go back to Bhagavad Gita because I feel that there are n number of solutions over there. You just have to go and flip through the pages. Uddharet atmana, atmanam na atmanam, avsadayet, atmaeva hi atmanaha, bandhu atmaeva, ripu atmanaha. Which means one is alone responsible for his own rise or fall. In other words, we must use the intellect to control the mind. In the hustle of life, we always forget to go back to our inner self and communicate with it. Our inner self is something which is the source of energy, whereas the outer self is something which is part of our actions. And the outer self is something which is affected by social conditioning. The society, the culture, the family, all of that play an important role in shaping our outer self. But this outer self is not happy if the inner self is not reflecting the inner self. And therefore, the inner self will be stressful, it will be full of anxiety if what you are behaving in your day-to-day life is not reflecting what you are thinking in your mind. So it's important, there has to be a coherence between the inner and outer self. It will lead to a lot of discrepancies if the inner self and outer self is not in cognizance with each other. Trust me, to understand oneself, we will have to open the communication between the inner and outer self. Self-discovery isn't a destination, but it is a continuous journey. A journey which even today, I am also investing a lot in that journey. So it's not something which you've achieved and there's an end to it. You have to go ahead day by day, every second, every moment in your life can come back to you as a learning. Only if you're open to learning, only if you're open to ideas with your senses. My second life lesson to you is being rational makes you a more empathetic person. So I'm going to share a life incident with me. In our institute, we had our first ever blind student who enrolled. And probably it was not her first experience of learning as a blind student, but it was my first experience to teach a blind student. It was not a challenge for her. Rather, it was a challenge for me, that how do I tackle a girl who is visually impaired in a class of 60 where other students can listen and hear and see. So I remember this one classroom where I was teaching color psychology. Being a media professor, color psychology is an important part of your syllabus, isn't it? So I was teaching color psychology. Very soon I realized that there is this girl who hasn't seen colors in her life. Now how do I explain this concept of color to her? On that moment, I had to rethink, and then I said, let me see if I can explain her what each color evokes emotions. So and emotion is something which the blind student has had experience of. So I explained all the emotions to her, and I said, what what name you would want to give to that emotion. And that's how I explained colors to her. Now, on that day, it was a realization for me that senses alone can limit your understanding of the world. You have to, if you want to understand the world, you have to look beyond senses. So there lies a lot of information right now which probably we are not aware because our 5 senses are limiting us in our understanding of the world. I was probably not able to reach out to her. I was not probably able to explain to her things because I was trying to look at the whole situation from an emotional perspective. I was thinking that I am accommodating that girl because I feel in my able-bodied, I am supreme, and it is her who is deprived, and I have to accommodate her. But on that day, I realized that in the entire 2 semesters, she was accommodating me. So this is possible. I mean, when the moment you are able to reach out to the other person and think rationally, only then you will be able to be more empathetic. Empathy is an emotion which generally people attribute to emotional thinking. But I feel that empathy is something which I would attribute to rational thinking. Because only then you will get a bird's eye view of looking at the problem from each side. So that's my second life lesson. Be rational when you are doing empathetic thinking. Remember, when you are in a theater and you're watching a drama, you occupy front seats. But when you are watching a film, you occupy the rear seats. So your position in life is relative and not absolute. My father served in Indian Army. So living in a multicultural, multilingual setup was a common sight. And obviously, that became part of my natural being. So that made me a very, very adaptive person. I was open to ideas, I was open to people, I was open to institutions, I was open to challenges. And probably it is this attitude of me that helped me get into my second career option, that is as a film producer. So I've produced 2 films so far, and the third one is in the pipeline. Probably after a long stint at teaching, being adaptive helped me get into a completely different career option. So that's my life lesson, third life lesson to you. And what is that? What's the third life lesson? Be adaptive. Be open to ideas. Our social conditioning forces our outer self to show only the strong side of our personality. You can be highly nervous deep inside, but you have to show up with your smile. Everybody, and trust me, being nervous is not a negative trait. It's okay to be nervous. Rather, being nervous is something which will make you excel and practice and perform better. So, and I'm nervous today as well, so it's okay. I'm just camouflaging it with a smile on my face. Things are meant to break down, including you. So it's okay to be not so strong all the time. It is okay to be fragile inside sometimes. It's perfectly fine if I go weak during some moments. But what do I do when I'm going weak? I have to have these set of trusted people who are my fuel stations. Whenever I'm sad, I go back to this ecosystem of trusted people, refuel myself, and come back. Remember this law of energy, which we've all learned in school, that energy can neither be destroyed nor be created. It can only be transferred from one form to another. So if I'm draining out of energy, I have to refuel it. And the draining of energy is not draining, it is actually going on to someone else. So it's not a negative thing if energy is draining out. All of us, when we are forced in a situation where our mind is not working, what do? As Indians, we have this classic jugaad. We force shut down or we restart the machine. Mobile conk off ho gaya, laptop conk off ho gaya, what do? We restart it or we force shut down. It's okay to do that to the body as well. If you're conked off, you're stressed, just restart. Unplug yourself. You can't be available all the time. It's okay to unplug and come back and restart and reboot the system. So that's my next life lesson. Reboot your system. What if everyone in the world was full of positive energy? Probably a lot of jobs would not have been needed. Motivational speakers, therapists, tarot card readers, counselors, We don't need all of them because everybody is full of positive energy. A lot of Bollywood songs would not have shaped up. I'm not going to sing this for you. हर पल यहाँ जी भर जियो, जो है समा कल हो ना हो. और रुक जाना नहीं तू कहीं हार के. और मे बी थोड़ा है, थोड़े की ज़रूरत है. ज़िंदगी की यही रीत है, हार के बाद ही जीत है. ये सारे गाने होते ही नहीं अगर हम सब full of positivity होते. That's why we need to be surrounded with positive people. They will always motivate your inner self so that you don't underestimate your own worth. So here comes lesson number 5. Stop shrinking to fit places you've outgrown. Instead of saying dream big, I would rather say at least dream of what you have, what you deserve. Don't underestimate your size of the cup. Probably you think your size of the cup is this. Maybe life has some other plans for you. I remember this talk of mine 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I was addressing to 1,500 plus audiences at Vibrant Gujarat. I was nervous, not because of the size of the audiences, but because the audience comprised of diplomats, state ministers, cabinet ministers, including our Prime Minister of India. So I was worried, what if I go wrong? Probably I was able to come over that anxiety. And probably it was this courage that I showed on that stage, I was able to deliver comfortably this year at United Nations Women New York. That's my next life lesson. Go bit by bit. Be open for challenges. Small steps count. Because by taking those small steps, you are preparing yourself for the bigger picture. Lesson number 6. You don't have to set yourself on fire to keep others warm. I do a thing called what I want. And it's important because the outer self is very busy in being perfect. The outer self is affected by social conditioning. And the social conditioning demands that I have to have this perfect image in front of everybody whom I'm meeting. And in that process, we tend to put our priorities at the back foot. So it's important that what you feel within, what you really want to do, go ahead and do it. Because, and I won't say that you don't have to refer to other people's life journeys. It's important that you refer to other people's life journeys. But remember, theory cannot be ditto of practice. So what you're learning from other people's lives, it's their life journey. Maybe you are facing different set of challenges. It's not going to work exactly the same manner. If it is work for them, you have to customize your own cup. And there comes my next life lesson. Self-growth is important before you help others to grow. पहले अपनी कुर्सी की पेटी बांध लें, फिर औरों की मदद करें. आप अगर डिप्राइव्ड हैं, आप अगर अपने आप में खुश नहीं हैं, आप सामने वाले को कभी भी खुश नहीं कर सकते. And that takes me to the next life lesson, which I'm inspired by Katie Reed. She says, self-care and self-love is giving the world the best of you instead of what's left of you. Recently, I got this random call from one of the persons known to me, and I was not in touch with her since past 12 years. She gives me a call and she says, Daivata ma'am, pehchana mujhe. And I was like, you get calls every day, so many of them. I said, who is this? I won't name the person, but I'll share the gist of this entire conversation. She said, I'm getting divorced. I said, why? She said, I've been facing domestic violence for a very long period. And you know what? For all these past 12 years, you were my source of inspiration. It was you who was my guiding path, where I could survive for this entire past years in my relationship. Probably when she was 25, 12 years ago, I had said some random thing to her, which I don't even remember today. But She kept that message with her for 12 years. She survived with that message for 12 years. Trust me, after I kept that phone, it shook me. I was in silence for many hours, because I never thought that what you say randomly can have such a long impact on people which have stayed with them for 12 years. So that's my next life lesson. Make a positive impact. You never know when someone is getting inspired. When are you going to become a guiding path for someone for 12 years to deal with the crisis situation? मेरे लिए ये कहानी 12 साल पहले ख़त्म हो चुकी थी और मैं आज भी उसकी कहानी का किरदार हूँ. ये जो फीलिंग थी वो बहुत ज़्यादा डिस्टर्बिंग थी. And finally, my most important cherished life learning. Everybody knows about it. Live in present. आपने कभी बच्चों को देखा है खेलते हुए, बात करते हुए? वो ना कल में जीते हैं, ना वो आने वाले कल में जीते हैं, वो आज में जीते हैं. Abraham Lincoln once said, the best thing about future is it comes one day at a time. And that day is today. Past is already gone. Future is imagination. What you have right now is now. That's the power of now. Live in present. क्योंकि हमने गाने से शुरू किया था, तो पर सोच लो इस पल में जी ले हम कल हो ना हो. So here's my life of lessons. Imperfect, rational, vibrant, positive, inquisitive. I want to learn. This is my customizable cup, Daivata cup for you. Thank you so much. Love you all.